Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host for this live podcast, Fight CPS, Stop Taking Our Children. And I know how most of you must feel right now because this is the holidays. You know, Christmas around the corner, and your family's been disrupted by a terrible agency out there that I call the Child Protection System. Now, in every state, it has different names. Even in California, between two counties, Orange County and LA County, it's different. It's CPS in Orange County, Child Protection Service, but right next door in the LA County, it's called the Department of Children and Family Services. In Arizona, it's called the Department of Children's Services. In Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. So instead of sitting here have to worry about which name to say, I just call it the Child Protection System. And that's what we're all here fighting for, is to get our kids back in family reunification. Now, the Child Protection System is a government agency that was mandated by Congress that a part of social services would be entrusted to protect our children from neglect and abuse. But I hate to tell y'all, neglect and abuse goes all the time. And it seems like they're wasting all the time to chase, parents that are having hard times, like low-income parents and so forth. Maybe they don't have much knowledge about CPS. But they're supposed to keep our children that have been endangered. And there's so many kids every day that are lost or trafficking or even killed. Furthermore, they're supposed to provide assistance to family in the form of food and shelter and clothing and transportation and educational, like schools for the kids and school for the parents, parenting classes. They're supposed to do medical benefits to help out people that are in need of medical. And then lastly, they're supposed to help out finding a job. I bet a lot of people don't realize that. And furthermore, they're supposed to do what's called family reunification. When they tear apart a family, which is a traumatic experience for the kids and for the parents, they're supposed to do what's called family reunification, try to put the family back together again. That was what CPS was founded on. But apparently, an act was passed in 1997 by President Clinton that gives incentive to the child protection system to put children in foster care right away. They were feeling that they were too long waiting to be family reunification. So they're rewarding the social services by putting them into foster care, which is wrong. The best parents, as studies have found, are the biological parents. The mothers and fathers are the best. The biological parents take care of the children. Children need, and if foster care and CPS have been so brutally towards parents and children, they traffic children into foster care. They alienate children. Alienation and trafficking is against the law, but they get away with it. They ignore your constitutional or your civil rights. They lie, they commit perjury all the time. And they're never held accountable. They're never held accountable. It's a really sad state of affairs that the CPS has become. They've become a rogue agency. Now, Vincent Davis, who just spoke, is one of the top-notch attorneys in the country. He is a dependency lawyer in dependency background with family and juveniles. That's what it's all about. CPS uses the dependency courts to take your children. So Vincent Davis, for 35 years, has been fighting CPS and getting back children. He's also a trial attorney, too. He's a trial attorney. Not only that, he's done civil lawsuits against CPS and won millions of dollars, both in federal and state courts. You can't sue CPS until your case is closed, but when it's closed, you can sue them, and you need to with statute of limitations. You got to be careful about that. But Mr. Davis, every Saturday is having a live podcast where he wants to help you with his insights of his 35 years. He's a trial attorney. His office is located in Arcadia, which is in LA County, but he also fights in Orange County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County in California, and Northern California. Plus, he fights in all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. Right now, he's in Oklahoma fighting a case. So he goes everywhere. And I have a phone number there, 888-888-6582. That's the law offices of Vincent W. Davis. And you can call him to retain him. If you know your mind's made up and you want to retain him, you can call that number. Make sure when you talk to the office, you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And when you talk to Mr. Davis, say that Bob Pace sent you. Now we have someone just came in the room here. And let me see here who it is. Danielle, can you hold them accountable when they take your child without a warrant and no imminent harm? Sure. That's one of the things you can do. But it takes an attorney. To fight CPS takes an attorney. And that's the problem. Most of us don't have the financial support that we can by hiring attorneys because they are very corrupt. They lie, they retaliate, and they harm children. In fact, children go missing all the time that are in the child protection system. They're missing. They're missing, and it's terrible that they're missing. I welcome you. I have no idea where you're from, but if you could share me, Danielle, your place, that would be great. All I need to know is the city or the county your case is in and the state. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Let me put up there. When you're typing in a comment, or typing in a message, either a comment or a question, make it pertain to CPS. Show your first name and your city or county and your state. And if you're from a country, you're welcome because we have lots of countries that have CPS problems, and I've talked to them. For the last week, I've had South Africa, the Western Province, call in morning and night or texting in with things that she wants to help and wants everything there. So it is open around the world. I have about 17 countries, from Bangladesh to India to the Middle East to Africa to Europe to North America to South America to the Pacific to Australia and New Zealand. So I have a lot there. Also, try to be complete with your CPS case so we don't play ping pong back and forth. And that's the second way of interacting with the podcast. Now, the first way is you're in my room. In this room, you're welcome. And you can use emojis, the thumbs up, the hearts, the smiley faces. You can send me stars. You also can check the box if you want to follow me, and then notifications so I'll let you know when it's live. Now, I broadcast twice a day, 7 days a week. I've been doing this continuously for over a year. I do it through Christmas and Thanksgiving, through all the holidays. There are the times I'm typically on. There are 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, and 7 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time. That's 2 hours a day. That's 14 shows. And so you never have to worry because you're family to me, and I want to help out my family out there. I want to help out the people that have been abused by CPS. They've been taken advantage of. They're hitting hard times. I'm not an attorney. I'm a loving father. I have 6 children, 3 young ones and 3 old ones. And, I'm a hardworking man. Unfortunately, I lost my job at the age of 60 in 2010 through no fault of my own. And that's when my troubles with CPS started. It seems CPS preys on people that are low income or are going through a lot of stress. Losing a job after working for 45 years is a hard thing to take, especially when it's not your fault and suddenly you don't have the money to pay the mortgage or all the other bills. I had money saved. It wasn't until 8 years later that I finally lost my home. It was sad. It was really sad. I don't know how else to explain it to you, but it was sad. Losing your children is one thing. That's bad, but losing your home is another thing. CPS is so corrupt. I had to hire an attorney. I hired Mr. Davis, and I used up all my money so that he'd get my kids back. I had 3 kids that were taken after 5 years of harassment by the CPS. The CPS was constantly harassing me every week because a layperson, they were actually laypersons. They're my in-laws, my wife's mother, father, 3 sisters, and her brother were calling in once a week from Ohio to California to make up stories and complaints that were not true. And sad to say that my kids, after 5 years of constantly talking to them, they finally were able to, they forced me to give up my children and take them and go into my home. I could not believe the things I know now that would never have happened. But I warmly welcome all of you. I know that you all try to find an answer and what to do and everything. I try to make my shows different, but there's some things that are repetitious. Besides being on here 14 times a week, you found me on Facebook, Fighting CPS. I broadcast on YouTube and use the StreamYard application. Besides being in this room or text me a message, you can also, a third way, is be a guest on my podcast. Please send an email to my show producer, Grace, who works very hard behind the scenes. She can be reached at grace@vincentwdavis.com. Grace@vincentwdavis.com. And all you have to do is pick one of my shows. There's 7 days. Pick a Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, and the times from morning or afternoon. Now, this Saturday, I haven't got the green light yet, but I want to come on at 8 o'clock. So that gives more time for people after my show's over to see Vincent's. I don't want to conflict the 2 podcasts there. So I'm hoping to come on Saturday at 8 o'clock. That is the day after tomorrow. And Sunday, I come on at 8 o'clock because I have church. I like to go to church. I like to pray to God. So Sunday, there's a difference. And then next Saturday, I have my final football game of the season that I'll be Friday Night Lights. It's the state championships. And I want to come on at 3 o'clock so I can leave because it's a long trip at 4 o'clock to drive to the football game. Anyway, I want to, thank all the people that have listened to me in the past. I've had so many people. Last night we had several mothers that were sharing their story, and it's very hard and tragic. Now, besides being in this room or texting a message or being a guest, you can also call in. I'm at 626-698-0990. And you can call in and speak on my phone. My office, that's my office number. We use Vonage as our software application for phone. So if you call in, I can answer it. I cannot talk to you before my show time or after my show time. So please call in during my show time. It's 626-698-0990. I'll leave that up. Now, one thing's nice. If you call in on my phone and talk, or you guest on my show and talk, you will get a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis on a Zoom call. You'll be able to see him and talk to him, and he'll answer all your questions. I'm not an attorney. I told you I'm just a family man that was involved in CPS. I'm sharing what my experiences are. And also, I've talked to over 600 people this past year. And so I do have a lot of information that can help you all fight the cases in there. Now, sometimes the nights are slow. Sometimes the days are slow. It's just, again, there's a lot of you listening behind the scenes. You don't want to say anything. That's fine. I just hope that I'm able to help you out because I do care. I do care about everyone. I want people's families to be patched up together. I want CPS to stop stealing our children, stop trafficking our children. They need to put the child first, the money last, but they've found out that greed helps because they have bonuses and incentives. That thing that Clinton signed is incentive. For every child they get put into foster care, they get rewarded. That's not how it's supposed to work. A good job by CPS is reunifying the family or finding if there's a problem. But a lot of times there's not a problem. A lot of times they take children who are not in danger. My children were not in danger. They're all in school. Since when being in school that they're in danger? Now, I do welcome any of you that want to call in or be a guest. And as I say, you get a free 15-minute session with Mr. Davis, one of the best pit bull CPS attorneys around. And once you've talked on the podcast as a guest or called in on the phone and talked, then I'll ask you if you want to see Mr. Davis for free. And he will talk to you for 15 minutes. All I need is your full name, your email, and your phone number. And then we'll make the arrangements to put you with Mr. Davis. Another way that I've done with Mr. Davis is that I have a discounted Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis for up to 30 minutes. Care of me. And it only costs you $60 for those 30 minutes. You just go to that website. You go to that website at the bottom of my screen. And you sign up, pay your $60 and sign up for your 30 minutes. And that way you can talk to him. So being a guest has its advantages. Calling in has its advantages. I strongly recommend that you do both. Now we have Fred from Oakland, California that just came in. Don't Complain is his handle, the Don't Complain campaign. But welcome, Fred. He has a question. Um, his question is, if I file a complaint against a social worker, will it messes my chances of guardianship? Well, anytime you muck around with the social workers, they do retaliation. I know you want to file a complaint, but you also want your guardianship. And I think you have to brown nose the social workers. So I'd recommend that you don't do anything to intimidate or make the CPS bad. I mean, they really retaliate. They retaliated on my daughter. They really did awful things to my daughter. Now Danielle had had a question. I don't know if I answered it fully. She said, "Can you hold them accountable when they take your child without a warrant and no imminent harm?" You could try. The problem is if you don't have an attorney, it's going to be hard yourself to do it. They're not supposed to take your children without a warrant. And they do not take them when they're not in imminent danger. But they are doing that now. They are doing that now. They are doing that. Those are good questions, Danielle and Fred. I hope you can hear me okay. If you guys want to call in, right now my number's on the screen. You can call in. Now, I have 5 rules. I keep repeating myself. One is you've got to have attorney, rule number 1. And it's not going to be a court-appointed attorney. They're no good. They're criminal lawyers. They're not dependency lawyers. They have no background in children or juveniles or even background in families. They also have a caseload of 30 or more clients. They won't have time for your case. They just love to push paperwork around. They're friends of the courts, friends of the social worker. So you really lose out by using court-appointed attorneys. Also, when attorneys represent you, you can't say anything in court. The way you can talk in court is be recognized by your attorney or the judge to elaborate on something. Court is very, very complex, and trying to be yourself being a lawyer is really hard. That's why you need to get the real thing, get a real attorney. And they are around. There's 2 ways you can ask that really will help you. One, when you call the law firm, you ask them, do you have attorneys that fight CPS in dependency law, juvenile, and family law? It's very important to use that can fight CPS in dependency, family, juvenile law. Question 1. The answer is yes. You ask the next question. Have you ever fought CPS and won a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit? If the answer is yes, you got yourself a real winner of attorney. That attorney is Mr. Davis. But that's so important that you ask those 2 important questions. It will help your case. It will really help your case. Rule 2 is the notebook. Take all your documents. Get that big size notebook, 3 inches thick, 3-ring binder. Get subject tabs and papers. And one of the most important documents you can put in there is called an incident timeline log. Every incident you have, whether it's with social services, the workers, or with the police or the school, or even your family members, children, whatever you have an incident with, you list the date, the time, the location, the people that are involved in the first line. The next line, you make a summary of what the incident's all about. The third line is you write the outcome. If you don't have an outcome, leave it blank and come back later and fill it out. So that's really important with documents. You need to organize them and have them there really well. Rule 3, I've already talked about, is that you do not let them take your children. You do not talk to social workers. If they come knocking on the door, be quiet. They'll leave a card or something to contact them. But do not open your door. Now, I said the only way that they can get in your house or take away your children is they have a warrant. And those warrants are a really tricky piece of legal document. They got to be a wet signature signed by a judge, and then the court clerk, embosses that signature by raising up the emboss stamp, and that way no one can really forge the signature. And it's going to be correctly filled out, signed by the judge, wet signature. And they really got to be really careful. So you got to be careful with them because they really are very, very, very tricky. They'll try to think ways with warrants. Now we have someone else new here. I don't remember talking to Sydney. Welcome, Sydney. Where are you from? Now, Sydney, that is sad. What happens if they've already been adopted? Well, once they're adopted, your rights are terminated. And if you haven't filed an appeal, there's a statute of limitation where it runs out. I'm so sorry to hear that, Sydney. Where are you from? That'd be nice if you could share with me where you're from. Now, Cindy further says, is there a thing I can do? Well, if you just had that happen, there's a statute of limitation. If you file an appeal, you could reverse that. But I don't know how old the children are and the situation they're going through, Sydney. Okay, you're from Fresno, California. All right. And you said your attorney was not available because she was fighting a child molestation case. Was she a court-appointed attorney, Sydney? Now, Danielle said something here. I need to get her back in the picture. She said we did speak with the office, his office, however, and they would take the case, but we can't afford him. We have the discovery. They literally cite as evidence feeling. All right, so you have spoken to Vincent Davis' office. They would take the case, but we can't afford him. Understand that. I had to sell my house so I could afford Vincent Davis. We have the discovery. They literally cite as evidence feeling. Okay, all right, okay. I'll try to help you out there, Danielle. I know a lot of people can't afford Mr. Davis. Your case is slam dunk, but I'm having a hard time finding anyone. We had all our resources over the years, and Arthur, all the best doctors. Now, Danielle, I think you said you're out of Fresno, California. Fresno, California, I think is where you're from. No, that's Sydney Grave. I don't know where you're from, Danielle. If you tell me where you're from, maybe I can find out something that can help you. Oh, Cindy, I'm so sorry. It's too late. Your attorney's supposed to file one. What was your attorney, Sydney? Was he a court-appointed attorney? It's all over the news. I'm so sorry it's all over there, Sydney Griever. Yeah, money is a huge issue. I know it is. Danielle said, no, unfortunately, I'm not in California anymore. I was a producer in California. As was husband, we worked for Mark Burnett, but we moved to North Carolina for my sons and where I'm from. I'm so sorry there. That is sad, Danielle. Danielle, that is so, so sad. Wow, 4 years ago. It's a long time. Now, Jennifer Walters. Sydney, who is Jennifer Walters? Six kids were involved, and three of them moved to Virginia. I was a court appointed. I guess your court appointed attorney was Jennifer Walters. Yeah. Well, I'm sad to say that court appointed attorneys will not fight your case. They have a caseload of 30 or more clients, and they'll just sit on your case. They won't fight. They're not in there to fight. They're friends of the court, friends of the social services. It's $1 trillion business, as CPS is, and they don't want to give up the money. They found that they like the money too much than helping out children, helping out your cases there. All you can do is research the internet and do the best you can. And if you can't get anything but a court-appointed attorney, make them work. Kick them in the butt. Tell them to do their job. Tell them to make motions or to make changes. They need to help. You need to force them. It's weird how it says there's still rights if you're in a legal matter and you can't afford an attorney will be appointed. The only trouble is the attorney they appoint are beginning lawyers, beginning attorneys who barely have a background in criminal law, let alone dependency law. My number's up if you guys want to call in. It's 626-698-0990. So I really love to have you call in. And Sydney, thank you for the thumbs up. Now, Danielle said, our court appointed attorneys are actively working against us. The court appointed attorney for my husband is the middle of a CPS call started asking my husband questions made him look bad. Oh, yeah. The court appointed attorneys are, it's better you fight them yourself. Fight them yourself because they are bad. Now, Vincent will talk to you. He will help you. He has a free offer right now. If you're on my show on the phone or a guest, you get free 15-minute consultation with him. And if that's not long enough, I have a special rate, $60 for 30 minutes. That's $2 a minute. Now, Danielle says, here's what she says. With everyone on the call, can I not report her to the state bar? You can report lawyers and judges. There's a way of doing that. You just have to go Google it. You can file a complaint against a lawyer or a judge. Now, I'm sorry if there's some information from some rooms that came in after you guys all talked here. Now, Danielle has said, can a reporter to the bar and also my attorney for not showing up for all these calls, and then suddenly I'm at a disadvantage, look bad? I was trying to save face. I know you were. Yes, you can report them. You can report them to the bar. There's nothing wrong with doing so. I'm sorry, I'm trying to reach for a lens cleaner because it looks like the lens is foggy or something. I don't know why it is. There, hopefully that's a little bit better. Now we have a new person, Anthony Seaman. Can you help with cases in Kern County? Sure can. We can go anywhere. Anywhere in the United States. In fact, anywhere in the world. I've been talking to people in England and actually in Auckland, New Zealand, in Bangladesh. I talked to lots of people about their cases and try to help them. Where are you from? Our latest one right here, Anthony Seaman. Kern County's in California. What is your case? What city are you from? So we have Anthony just joined us. Now I got Danielle back. And Danielle, maybe he's going to come on. And she said, no, he's not coming. I was like, how the heck are you allowed to speak for me? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm trying to help you out there. What do you mean? Come on and wow. I'm trying to understand some of you guys' questions. Danielle was sitting there. Maybe he's going to come on. Who's he going to come on? And she said, no, he's not coming. I was like, how the heck are you going to allow to speak for me? Are you talking about your court-appointed attorney, Danielle? Because even if they're not on your side, I thought they're not supposed to actually make you look bad to the other people. I'm pretty sure that's against the code. Yeah. Hey, there's lots of rules our society makes. You know, it's 55 miles an hour on the freeway, but who drives at 55 on the freeway? It seems like all these laws are made and they're all broken. No one seems to retain to laws. And I'm sorry to say that, Danielle, because that is bad news. That is bad news there. Now we have Anthony again from Kern County, California. Anthony says, the mother of my child has been looking for an attorney to help her with her case. I'm in Ridgecrest, California. Okay, all right. Well, here's how you find them. You just type in the name Ridgecrest, and you may want to put a bigger city than Ridgecrest. I don't know what would be a bigger city. Put Ridgecrest, comma, and then your other city, and then put the state of California, then put in CPS, and you'd be surprised what shows up. Then you can put in there where the policies, procedures. There's lots of things you can clarify. That it's just how you search, which is so important there. So important there. Now, Danielle says, oh, I was talking about the attorneys. My husband has an attorney. I have an attorney, and my attorney didn't show up. Well, they're court-appointed attorneys, I think you told me. And court-appointed attorneys are a waste of time. You know, they are a waste of time. You're not going to get anywhere with a court-appointed attorney. See, Danielle further says it was a conference call meeting because they couldn't all meet in person. I tell you, they're paid, and people just really don't help out parents or families. Anthony says the mother of my child has filed many complaints about her attorney to the courts and bar association. They're all closed. Yeah, well, you have a hard enough time fighting the CPS case, let alone have to fight attorneys and stuff. So my recommendation is to use a real attorney. Somehow come up with the money for one. And if you're going to have to use a court-appointed attorney, you got to work them. You got to make them do their job. You got to make them do their job. Danielle says she asked my husband on the conference call with the upside why he was refusing to take a drug test. Oh boy, it sounds like it gets messier and messier, Danielle. Now, Danielle further says, and the reason was because my son, and all this happened because of false positive. Drug tests are the horrible things that CPS makes everybody do. They always want to have a drug problem or a mental problem. And they want to use their drug people who will give them a reading. But it's so sad. The other night, one parent said she did 4 tests, they're all negative. But then CPS wanted her to try some more tests. They never quit. They want to test people alive. They want to test people alive. Now, Danielle further says, we are literally considering selling our plasma after seeing a billboard saying we can sell our plasma for $900. There's nothing we wouldn't do. I guess selling your blood for $900. Wow, I sold my home. My home I worked for 45 years. My home was sold so I could pay my attorney to get my kids back. Now, Danielle further says we are 50 years old and 60 years old. I never had a drug alcohol problem arrest. I even had a ticket in 20 years. That's sad when they pick on seniors. I was picked on when I was 60. I'm 75 now, and I had to fight them for 15 years, CPS. That's how long I've been fighting them. And they're bad and corrupt, and I've gone to the top dog where I live and did nothing. It did nothing. I've even called Congress to speak to a attorney. Did you know that Congress will answer the phone? I had no idea, but the switchboard got on the phone, and then I asked her about a congressperson to talk. They gave you the number. They gave you the information. So do call. I mean, you can call and make big waves anywhere. You can call and make big waves anywhere. They can do that. Now, Danielle says, what did Danielle say now? We sold everything we have. Yeah, I know the feeling. I lost everything. My credit's ruined because of CPS. My credit's ruined because of CPS. Let me see if one of my regulars can come on the show and talk a bit. Because I know you must be pretty tired of my voice. I'm calling Faye, a single mother from Richmond, Kentucky, who's been on the show numerous times that would help out. So maybe there's something new that she can talk about. Yeah, good evening, Faye. This is Bob Pace live on my podcast show. And I was wondering if you'd like to share anything with us tonight.
I mean, I don't know, Bob. You always do this to me. I don't know.
Okay. I know that. I'm at the point where I've talked now for a good 40 minutes and I've been talking to about 5-10 people here from different parts of the country. Most of them are saying that they really are tired of their court-appointed attorneys. They don't know what to do. And I tell them that, if that's all you can afford, that's all you can use. You got to make them work for you, but they may not work for you.
And if they don't work for you, you need to fire them, and you're just going to have to represent yourself.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, representing yourself is going to be better than having a court-appointed attorney, which ain't doing anything anyway.
Right. And if you're respectful to the judge and very precise and study the internet, you can probably fight your case.
Yeah, and plus, when you're representing yourself, you get to talk to the judge.
Right.
You get to present your side of the story.
That is so true. That's so true.
When you have a court-appointed attorney, you're not allowed to say anything unless it's through the attorney. And 9 times out of 10, the attorney's only going to push buttons so far when it comes to the judge because they don't want to be put in contempt.
Right. Well, it's also hard when the judges are crooked. That's
the majority of them.
And that is what I'm so sad for all you listeners out there. It's almost why have a court-appointed attorney when the judge is crooked anyway.
Well, the judge is usually the one that appoints the attorney, and usually that's his buddies. So
they like to make it a POW-type courtroom. I mean, they go to lunch with everybody. They play golf together.
Yep.
They are really, they are all protected their own interests. It's all about money.
In Kentucky, we call that a good old boy state.
Oh, okay. Was that what Kentucky is? A good old boy state?
It's a good old boy state, yep. Now listen to what happened to me today, Bob.
What?
I got attacked by dogs today.
Oh, not again?
Yep, I got attacked by a pit bull and 2 other breed of dogs today. When I was letting my dog outside, they attacked my dog.
Oh, no. Did it
and,
hurt your dog?
Well, no, because I picked her up, and they were still trying to jump up and attack her in my arms, almost knocked me down. And then I was trying to fend them off of me. I finally got my dog up on the porch and was able to get her on the porch, and they were trying to run up on the porch and attack her. And I was trying to block them with my body to keep them from getting on the porch. And the one dog kept trying to dart up on the porch. I had to block him off with one of my cat shelters to keep him from getting on the porch. Then it went to bite me. Bit me on the back of my leg 3 times.
Oh, no.
Yeah, thankfully I had on, loose clothing. Really loose. What happened? Jeez, De'Aaron. Well, okay, so, anyways, I got bit on the back of my pant leg. It pulled my pant leg, my shoe, and everything. Thankfully, it didn't grab a hold of my skin. Thankfully, just the pant legs. But it did bite my dog on the back of her leg pretty hard, and she's been kind of limping a bit over it and everything. But I tell you, it's ridiculous. And, if I hadn't screamed, I screamed bloody murder outside because these dogs were attacking us. And one guy finally heard me and came out, and he ran the dogs off. And my son came out, and I think that scared him too. And if it hadn't been for that, ain't no telling what would have happened. Because I was outnumbered. I would have had you sleep. Yeah, I know.
So how did you get the dogs away?
He ran them. He ran them and kicked at them and stuff.
Did you call the police again? Did the police come out to help? Or?
Oh yes, I called our lovely police station here in Richmond, Kentucky, in Madison County, and I reported the dog attacking me and my dog, and it took the police 35 minutes to get here. On. That's not Crystal. I'm on the podcast there. But anyway, so I called the police and reported it. Took them 35 minutes to get here, and then I hung up and I called the dog warden. So the dog warden what happened. He come out, but it took them forever to get here. So by the time they got here, these dogs were long gone.
Right.
And then when the cop came, He didn't even come and talk to me. He didn't say nothing. He sat out in his car. He went over, he talked to his dog warden. He never even came to talk to me, and I was the one that called. Not to get a report or to write a report or nothing. Nothing. He just left. Didn't ask me if I was okay, if my dog was okay or nothing.
Wow. Well, we have someone, Danielle, who's been talking for the past half an hour. And what Danielle said, when after they hold a meeting, the court-appointed attorneys and the judge, for 10 hours waiting for a warrant, we finally said we're calling the police and have them escort us out of here. Oh boy, that was bad. They have lied and made it aggressive.
Let me see what that looks like. Okay, Aaron, come on, I'm on the thing. Let me see. I am.
Anthony Seaman says, we have looked on the Bar Association trying to find lawyers in Kern County, but only the attorney we found said she doesn't study dependency law and she wasn't doing any private counseling. Anyone we've gotten. Anthony further says, I got a hold of outside of Kern County, sent us right back to Kern County. The mother of my child has asked to represent herself, but they won't allow her to do it. She's represented herself, if all of her. If you want to represent yourself, they cannot force you to have an attorney. You can represent yourself. Anthony further says appeals, but it's difficult trying to do her briefing because they didn't have a deposition until almost 6 months into the dependency proceedings, and she had to file a notice of appeal herself. Anthony further says for every single hearing because her attorney refuses to do it. Now, Danielle says, I would like to call you, but I'm afraid I wouldn't be very good on the radio. I'm really totally agree and have considered going per se. Yeah, that's where you want to do it yourself. Danielle further says, my judge is actually good, but I can't. My judge is actually good, but I can't get to him to tell them how they're perjuring. He's a Quaker. They lie and make us aggressive, Danielle says. Danielle says when after they had held all of us in holding for 10 hours waiting for a warrant, we finally said we're calling the police and have been escorted us out of here. Boy, that sounds like that was getting bad there, Danielle. And then Lady P says, and welcome, Lady P. I just read in a yearly report the whole judicial team, the judge, the public defender's office, the attorney general office, hold lunch meetings once a month to talk about all of it. They're pals. How's that legal? I tell you. I agree with you, Lady P. Lady P further says that all has to be a violation of ethic codes. Problem is, no one's going to enforce the ethics codes. The legal system and the CPS run amok. There's no one controlling them. They removed her son from her without the warrant, and when the mother of my child brought the paperwork to her case, she found the warrant wasn't even filed and stamped into the court until. Oh boy. See, that's the problem. You can't trust them. And they didn't have the warrant stamped until the day after they removed him. Now, Danielle said, we were cool with the cops. They even tried to call the attorney to see what the legality was. And I'd seen many of the police since, and they'd be willing to speak on my behalf. Well, I hope that they can. Most police are really corrupt and bad, Danielle, but if you got them on your side, that's great. Because when they get in front of the judge, they don't say, I asked to call the police. Yeah, they twist and turn and lie in court. Now we have about 5 minutes left of this podcast. Hi, Happy Feet. I'm glad you're back. And welcome back, Family Feet. Welcome back. Danielle further says, see what Danielle further says. They made it sound by leaving out that I was going to call the police part to escort me out, as if I was going to run out of the facility with the children. Yeah, they twist things around really bad. Danielle further says, I could see the judge's face literally change in front of my eyes as he says something there. I can't read it there. As he hates violence. Okay. Danielle further says, as we do, we are very peaceful people, practically Quakers ourselves, but now we are characterized in the judge's eyes as something that is against his way of religion. Oh boy. Lady P now says, I'll call in if Faye wants a break. Yeah, Lady P, I'd love you to call in. Faye, you want to step off then? Faye? Hello, Faye.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here when I hang up.
Okay, thank you, Faye. God bless you. Thank you for calling in.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Lady P, I'm going to put the phone number up. There's my phone number. Call in 626-698-0990. We have about 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, Lady P. Please call in. Danielle said I could see the... Okay, that faces... I always get here too late. It's okay, Lady P. I'm on again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. You don't have to worry. I'm not going to go anywhere. Danielle says, in a discovery we're just reading, they sound insane, just shy of accusing us of witchcraft or voodoo. This was his school, and it's retaliation for some reason. Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace.
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Pretty good. Is this Lady P?
Yes.
And what part of the world are you from?
Connecticut.
Okay, we have Lady P from Connecticut that was coming in to continue talking. And I know you say you come here too late, and we got about 2 minutes left. Hopefully you can come in tomorrow. I'm on again at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lady P.
for you. I'm trying to get a
Your call is cutting out.
provider, right? The person who's been supervising our visits, but they are contracted by DCF. So
Okay.
he's hesitant to give it to us because he feels like they'll be doing something positive for us and he'll be retaliated against by CPS. Is there a way to do that?
Well, are you using a court-appointed attorney?
No, I'm not anymore. He's useless.
Well, if you got a real attorney, he could do something about that. But if you're trying to do it pro se yourself, you're going to have to tell the judge, and you got to back it up with facts. It's very important that you have an incident log that tells you everything, so you can say on such and such a date, such and such a time, these people said this or that. It's so important with incidents that you document everything. And that's hard to do because I didn't in the beginning. I did not do it with my case. We have a minute here, so I'm going to have to curtail this. I really appreciate you calling in, Lady P from Connecticut. Danielle, I appreciate you calling in and sharing what you've been sharing tonight. That's been really great there. I want to thank Faye, who called in from Kentucky. That was great. Happy Feet's here. I'm glad to see you, Happy Feet. Anthony Seaman, thank you very much for calling in. I'm glad that you're here. I think we've had Danielle, and who else have I left off here? I hope I didn't leave anybody else off here. I'm going way back to the beginning. Sydney Griever, thank you very much for what you had said tonight. That was good. It was good with all of you. Well, I'm going to close my show. There'll be a brief message from Vincent Davis when I sign off. But please tune in tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time. God bless you all, and thank you so much, and keep fighting for your kids. This is Bob Pace signing.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.